My wealthy, arrogant family thought they could publicly humiliate my wife. They did it at a packed restaurant, laughing cruelly while my mother destroyed Sarah's most cherished possession. They thought stepping on a sweet, defenseless woman would just be another funny story for their country club friends. They had no idea. They had just triggered the total collapse of their entire fake, luxurious lives. I'm 32 and my wife Sarah is the gentlest person you will ever meet. She grew up in the foster care system, so she values family more than anything. My parents, on the other hand, only value money and status. They always treated Sarah like a pathetic charity case. My golden child brother, Greg, and his snobby wife were even worse. I only kept showing up to family events because Sarah constantly begged me to keep the peace. That was my biggest mistake. Last month, we invited them out to a nice dinner to celebrate Sarah's new bakery finally opening. Sarah had spent weeks hand-painting a beautiful ceramic platter. She wanted to give it to my mother as a peace offering. When she proudly handed it over, Greg's entitled kids snatched it right out of her hands. They started tossing it around like a frisbee. When Sarah gasped, one of the kids deliberately smashed it onto the hard tile floor. I stood up and demanded an apology. My mother just laughed. She looked at Sarah's tears and sneered. "Oh, please, it looked like cheap garbage anyway." Sarah dropped to her knees. She was desperately trying to gather the shattered pieces. My brother smirked and accidentally kicked the fragments further away. I yelled at him to back off. That's when my father stood up. He pointed a finger at Sarah and shouted for the whole restaurant to hear, "Stop acting like a pathetic victim. You are an embarrassment to our bloodline." The entire room froze. Nobody helped. We left, and Sarah cried the entire drive home. I didn't shed a single tear. I just sat in cold, absolute rage. But that wasn't even the worst part. The very next morning, my family launched a coordinated smear campaign. They had their rich friends flood Sarah's brand new bakery page with fake, disgusting one-star health violation reviews. They were actively trying to bankrupt her before she even opened. They forgot one crucial detail about me. I'm a senior forensic accountant for a major firm. I know how to track digital footprints and hidden assets better than anyone. I spent the next 72 hours diving deep into my family's financial records. I checked their offshore accounts and corporate filings. What happened next shocked me. I discovered my brother wasn't just a successful investment banker. He was embezzling millions from his own clients to fund his lavish vacations. My parents were dodging massive amounts of taxes by funneling their money through fake shell companies. Then things got even stranger. I found out my parents had actually stolen Sarah's social security number during a previous visit to our house. They had secretly opened 3 maxed-out credit cards in her name. It was all to hide their own crippling secret debt. I didn't yell. I didn't confront them. I meticulously compiled a massive, undeniable digital dossier of their crimes. I systematically sent the evidence to the IRS, the SEC, the FBI, and multiple local news investigative reporters. I timed the drops so the investigations would overlap perfectly. 3 weeks later, their house of cards violently imploded. Federal agents raided my brother's corporate office in the middle of the day. My parents' offshore accounts were frozen. Their massive estate was seized for tax fraud and identity theft. My mother called me sobbing. She was begging for a loan to hire criminal defense attorneys. I listened to her cry. I smiled into the phone and said, "Sorry, Mom. I don't want to be dramatic. Besides, my money is tied up in cheap garbage." I hung up and blocked them forever. Today, Sarah's bakery is thriving, and my toxic family is facing years in federal prison. They finally got exactly what they earned.